Alright guys, here we have a 2001 EZGO TXT gas. This one here is a crank, no start. Step on a pedal. Just by, oh, there was a little hiccup. Just by listening to it, it sounds like it's probably valves. We're going to do a compression test on this one first, just to confirm that. And then we're going to adjust the valves probably as long as everything doesn't check out with our valves. So let's kind of jump into this here and let's see what's going on. All right, so one thing I want to point out is I can't find the little microphone poofy thingamajig for my lavalier mic. You may hear a bit of wind noise with the fan going. It is quite warm today, so I'm not shutting it off. I do have it on low, so it's not so loud. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. Whoop. See, they're nice and cocoa brown, so I mean, oop. Okay, good, it landed on the rubber. Boy, I'm all thumbs today. What is up with that? Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. Is it gonna focus? No, why would it? So it's not terrible. I mean, it's a little dingy, but it's not bad. Gap's good too. That's one of them. There's this one. Not terrible. It's not totally black. All right, let's do cylinder number 1, which is fan side. We're gonna do, well, let's call it fan side. Ugh, it is warm. I'm not complaining that it's warm. It's just so muggy. Okay, ready? Ooh, I smell gas. We have 60 psi. On cylinder 1. This cart is driven hard. I should probably point that out. It's a hard driven cart. Not that it's really any excuse, but it does explain why this cart's always in here for valve adjustments. What do you want to place your bets? Comment down below what this one's going to be. Oh, 50. You win. Okay, well now I'm gonna pull this out of here, and I'm just gonna put the spark plugs in loose, so that way I don't have any debris falling down in there. I gotta clean this thing off here. It's a little oily, so I'm gonna get the air hose and blow that off. That'll make that nice and clean. Now we'll get our 10 millimeter. Choke cable is in the way. This socket is starting to get wore out. I can feel it. I'm trying to prevent it from rounding over the nut or the bolt head. Now the EZGO, let's try that again. The EZGO manual, the rebuild manual, says that you need to do a valve adjustment on a cold engine. I know there are some of you guys out there that give me a hard time about doing a valve adjustment on a cold engine. I do it exactly how the EZGO book says to do it. So I'll give you an idea here what it looks like. Here's 4/1000. This is where, let me spin this around this way. This is basically where this spends all of its life. So as you can see, we have 4/1000, so you're in thousandths of an inch on the top and you're in millimeters on the bottom. So that's 0.102 millimeters or 0.004 inches. 4/1000ths of an inch. Just in case you're wondering what that looks like on a feeler gauge. I know it's hard to see. Let's see if that worked, if that helped. You can see the decimal before the zeros and the decimal before the 1 on the millimeters. That's what we're talking about when people say thousandths of an inch. And as you can see, I mean, that is I don't know, well, if you can, let's see, if you can, it practically disappears when you roll it over on its side. What I'm gonna do is, wow, that rolls over extremely easy. Okay, so we're gonna start with our intake, our exhaust valve on cylinder 2. Very, very loose. Now you wanna make sure the cam faces straight down when you do this. And this is a flathead screwdriver and an 8mm nut. Oh, I'm sorry, these are 10mm. What was I thinking 8mm for? Oh, a little brain fart there. These are 10mm nuts, not 8. All right, let's see if we can get our... Sorry if my big head in the way? No. And you want it to basically be tight enough to where it grabs, but you don't want it to pinch, if that makes sense. Okay. Perfect. Got a little bit of drag. I gotta get a longer wrench though. This one's too short. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna roll over and go to the next closest one, which will be cylinder 1. And this will be our intake valve, which, you know what? Let's see how well this works. All right, so here's my valve feeler gauge. I have the lobe facing down, and you can see, this is not someplace I can really get the camera, but the feeler gauge is not going in to between the valve and the rocker, so I'm gonna crack it loose. I'm going to take my flathead here and I'm going to back it out till right there. And it's just got a little bit of friction. This one wasn't bad. This one wasn't too bad. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now I'll roll it over again to my, let's see, where are we at here? Let's do cylinder 1 exhaust. That's loose, but we're going to adjust it because we're in here. There we go. Once it touches and binds, we back it off just a little. Now, one thing when you're tightening these down, you have to kind of hold back with the screwdriver, otherwise it'll also turn the set screw. And now we're going to go to cylinder 2 intake, which is absolutely super mega tight here. I know my hand's in the way probably, right? Back it out and that slips in. That's where we're going to start with. I'm going to hold back as I tighten. Just loose enough. Okay. Wipe off my feeler gauge. We're going to put the valve cover back on, and then we're going to retest our compression. All right, what do you think? Let's take bets. All right, leave them in comment what your compression test cylinder 1. Wow, look at that. Actually, I bet you this motor's done. We're going to do a wet compression test after this. That's where you take a little bit of oil and you put it down in the cylinder. It'll tell you if the valves, or the rings are shot, which I'm willing to bet they are. All right, cylinder number 2. It improved, but it's not good. All right, let's do a wet compression test. All right, so I got this oil can that's probably older than me. It's got motor oil in it. I'm going to put 2 dribbles in there. It's not a lot. These cans don't push out a lot of oil. And then I'm going to put the spark plug in, not all the way. Just gonna get it to touch, and then I'm gonna roll the motor over by hand real quick, and then I'm gonna go backwards with it just to kind of get that. Okay. And just so oil doesn't blow all over me, I'm gonna leave that. Okay, a little bit of oil on the spark plug, but not a big deal. Okay, place your bets in the comments below. Oop, let go of the dumb button. All right, so you can see that it has improved a little bit. So that means this engine's wore out. I'm gonna see if it'll run anyway, and then I'll let the customer know the situation and then take it from there. See, the problem is now I don't know if any of you guys out there have a source for these, but you cannot get the OEM ignition coils anymore for these. At least I can't find them. I called EZGO directly and I said, I need this ignition coil for, the 2-cylinder ignition coil for the non-MCI engine. And they said the part's no longer available. And I said, is there any substitute? And they said the part's no longer available. And they're monotone, wonderful personality people that they have answering the phones over there. All right, so our compression did not improve much more. We went up as high as 70. I'll have to make a call to the customer and let them know it's done. So having said that, now as far as like not being able to get the OEM ignition coil, at least I haven't been able to find it, and I went directly to the OEM to get the ignition coil, and they're not available through them. So I don't know if you guys out there, anybody that watches these videos that knows something that I don't, or if you can get them, send me a message on YouTube and see if it'll start. It might not. I'm not banking on it. It's kind of puttering. Oh, yeah, a little bit of, yeah, it's not running. It's backfiring into the carburetor. And it's backfiring out the exhaust. Okay, I'm calling it. It smells like oil now. This engine is done. So not being able to get the OEM coil, back to what I was saying again, because I'm like squirrel, rebuilding this engine, is it worthwhile? I don't know. I really don't know, unless I can find a reliable source for these not Chinese aftermarket junk igniters, or ignition coils rather. The igniter I can get all day, all night from EZGO directly. And it's an OEM part, and it's a genuine Japanese part. It's not or Taiwan or wherever it's from, whatever. Japan, I believe, because this is a Subaru motor. I don't know, that's the frustrating thing, because I know you guys know I don't like EZGOs. But this is still a nice cart, and it's still in good shape. It's a 2001. And this is a really good motor. Rebuilt, it'll be like a brand new motor, obviously. But not having access to the genuine ignition system, or have the other most important part of it, makes it a really tough sell. And I think that was planned and on purpose, if you ask me. Just like everything else, it sucks. But like I said, if you guys know a source where I can get these OEM ignition coils, and I've searched, I can't find the part. I mean, I'm searching based on the EZGO part number. I haven't really searched too hard, because these carts are getting to be more and more rare coming into my shop because of not being able to get access to these that don't cost $300. And a lot of people don't want to spend that. They just want the aftermarket one that's only like $100. So let me make a call to the customer. We'll see what they want to do and then go from there. All right, guys, I just got off the phone with the customer. This one here is, as I turn my ISO down, this cart is done. The customer does not want to rebuild the motor. They do not want to do anything with it. So on my end, they're They're giving the cart up to me. What that does is, because I don't know if I'm going to put a motor in it or not. Probably not. I don't have one. I'd have to send this out and get it rebuilt. So for right now, this is just going to get parked, and I'll figure it out later. Now I got the hiccups. I don't know why. So unfortunately for this cart, it is dead for the time being. I just wanted to take you along for the ride as we go through and basically just do a valve adjustment, and it didn't work. This is the one case that it did not work. So that's going to be it for this one. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Check the video's description down below for links, Amazon store, all that stuff. Using my links helps me. It does help support the channel, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.